Well, all this news comes right in the middle of the biggest event of the year for the travel industry. The World Travel Market is taking place in London. We met with tourism ministers from around the world to get an idea of how the industry is facing the tough economic times.
We didn't have less tourists this year. We had a small increase of 1.5 comparing to last year. But this was because of the picture of the country that was all over the world, which was not the real picture of the tourist areas.
This year we are seeing very good numbers. So far, January through September, there has been an important increase. Almost 20% in the number of travelers in these 9 months versus 2009.
The big fear is a declining dollar. Declining dollar is not good news. It affects all world economies, and it affects the competitiveness of Europe as a destination.
It's been very, very tough for people doing outbound tourism in particular. If the pound is weak, then it makes us a more attractive destination for inbound tourism, foreigners coming to visit Britain, and it makes us a more attractive domestic tourism market. But of course, it doesn't do any favours for our outbound tourism, which is a very important part of the industry, as you can imagine, and they find life tougher.
So while tourism ministers around the world are upbeat, there's at least one country that has bet big on tourism but so far failed to bring in the tourists, and that's Morocco. The country wants to move upmarket and has spent massive amounts of money on the industry. But what's the result? Francine Lacroix went to find out.
The musicians, monkeys, and the crowds. The main square of Marrakesh is swarming with tourists and entertainers. But just a 15-minute drive outside the city, I discover another world. Dozens of hotels and villas, many of them empty. You can just see barely on the right a lot of the hotels that haven't been finished because of the crisis there are less customers, and so they've postponed finishing them so they lose less money. Locals insist the projects just got delayed. This hotel stood half-built for 2 years, but now workers are back to finish it off. So to understand what really happened, I caught up with the Moroccan tourism minister. He spent 10 years working as a trader in the city before taking the job. Minister, have we felt the impact of the crisis on tourism in Morocco?
Yes, impact, but little one. Morocco had an annual average progression over the past 10 years exceeding the 10-12% every year.
How concerned are you that actually the crisis is not over and that the problems are just getting delayed?
No, actually, we're quite positive about that. We see the spending coming back. More people are visiting the country, and we're moving from 6% growth last year to exceed 14% this year. So we're feeling comfortable, working hard to keep the momentum and keep the growth going up.
Tourism represents 10% of Morocco's GDP. In the past decade, the country planned to triple its hotel capacity. But with the crisis, projects stalled, and they only managed to double the number of beds. We also went to the 5-star hotel Eden Andalou that opened 2 months before Lehman Brothers collapsed. They were betting on a luxury clientele, but as stocks dwindled, so did the tourists. They were only 40% for last year and hope to reach 60% this year.
The first month I opened, in August, I remember I sold very expensive rooms. But then we had the crisis and some other factors. And Marrakesh, which is the Mercedes of destinations, started getting sold at a lower price, with more pressure from the consumer.